Hi, and welcome to May 2021 Watercolor Club. I'm really excited about this stamp set, you guys. I just love this little girl. It's Hopeful Girl from Waffle Flower, and I'm really excited about Waffle Flower stamps. These guys have really outdone themselves. Not only do you get this beautiful stamp set, but you can also buy it with the dies. And if you do buy it as a combo set, the die and the stamp at the same time, then it comes in this beautiful heavy-duty plastic packaging that you have your stamp on one side, and then there's a divider, and then your dies that coordinate with the other, oh my gosh, on the other side. So the link can be found for this stamp set on your newsletter. If you're interested, you can go to a cherry on top here and get the set. If you're as excited about Waffle Flower stamps as I am, you can go to the link here and view their entire line. Unfortunately, a cherry on top does not carry everything of theirs, but they do carry a lot. So anyhow, oh, and a cherry on top has, well, that's 20% off, but that's for National Scrapbooking Weekend, so that's this weekend. So if you see the video today, May 1st, there will still be time to get the 20% off, and you can go. You'll also go on to our Creative Frugal Wonder Woman page, and I've put the link there too. So anyhow, there are two cards that I made this month using our watercolors. This is the one that we're gonna do today with Woodlands. And then you can also use vintage pastels and do this card. So, and both of those are on your idea sheet. But for now, and I love this little girl. So if you've got, if you're also joined in our Copic Club, you're going to get 4 ways to color her. And I think she is just so cool. But watercoloring her is a lot of fun. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our instructions. We're going to start with Cavern for her skin tone. So we're going to go ahead, and I want to make sure my brush is clean. It looks dirty, so I just want to double check it. And we're going to go ahead, and I'm not going to put any water down first. I'm going to go ahead and grab some of the Cavern. Now, if you think that's too dark for you, you can take your towel and soak some of it up, or just dilute the color onto your palette. Remember, just tip your brush and use the tip of the corner there to get into these small areas. You can go ahead and add some more color if you want to come down and add a little bit more darker along the nape of her neck here and along her chin, jawline, and then maybe up by the hair. We'll go ahead and clean off our brush, squeezing some water through it. And I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the heat gun to dry it. We didn't add a lot of water, so it doesn't take much. Now for her hair, we can go ahead and add a little bit of water coming into these areas around the leaves. You might get some ink or paint into the baby's breath. That's okay. You can use a white gel pen to just color them. So now we're going to go into Redwood, which is 95 right here. Oops, I don't have it on the screen. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and bring this color in. Whoops. Now I go ahead and come down adding some color onto those hairs. Squeezing a little bit of water in there. Coming down onto her neck here. It's fun because even if you do get some of that paint in those leaf areas, you can always just take, after you've cleaned off your brush, come in with some, just a wet brush, and bring up some of that color out of it. And it'll be enough that when you come down, dry it, come in with your color, your green, or the color for the flowers, then or green for the leaves, it will cover that up. So it's very forgiving. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and get this wet. And I'm going to come in with my brush into the redwood and make sure it's got lots of ink on it, and then I'm going to bring in this redwood, very saturated with ink. But because my palette, or the hair, I've gotten it wet, it's going to just blend beautifully. But we still want to leave some highlights, don't get it all. And if you've gotten too much and you want some highlight, just wipe off your brush, get it nice and clean, and then you can come back in here and take some of this up. And then it leaves some highlights. See how that does? Then we can go ahead and hit it with the gun, heat gun. Get it nice and dry so that the next color doesn't bleed into it. So that just gave some nice highlights and lowlights into our painting. So now we're going to go into Foxberry, which is 88, it's a deep burgundy, and we're going to go ahead and color these roses into our hair. Again, the stamp set is very forgiving. You can go ahead and bring in, now just don't add any water into your brush, just get nice saturated with color, and then come in and do some little swoops around the edge, and it will bring in some variation of color there. Oops, I got a dog hair, excuse me. Now if it doesn't blend, if it's not bleeding into it and you want more of a watercolor look, you can squeeze gently here and add some water. There we go. And get some more variation there. I think I want more. Let's see here. There we go. I like that. Okay, cleaning it off nice. Let's go ahead and, again, between each color we want to go ahead, because we're coloring so close to the other colors. If I was coming down to our shirt, I wouldn't have to dry it so much, but because I'm going to go on to step 4, which is the leaves, I want to make sure it's nice and dry because I don't want the green to go into my flowers. So then we're going to use Deep Moss, which is 96, which is over here down on the end. And we're not adding much water because these areas in these leaves is just very small. So we're just getting a little bit of color and water. Oh, I do need more. Okay, so I'm going to bring it over onto my palette. because that was a little intense there in the color. Oh, now it's not enough. See, and that's the beauty of the watercolor. You can just keep playing on your palette over here until you get just the right color that you want. And then we're going to just keep moving my paper, and just keep coming down the petals of this vine, the greenery in her hair. You know, if you saw the Copic, you saw me working from the stem out on these, and this one I'm coming from the end of the leaf into the stem. Just depends on what medium you're using. And you'll get a feel for what works best for you too. Okay, so now we've got some nice greenery in her hair. And then we're going to go on to step 5 and do our shirt. Now this one I really like. I've done it both ways, and I really like to do wet her shirt first, not the collar, just the shirt. Get it nice and wet, nice glisten there of water. And then we're going to go ahead into Mist, which is number 92, and we're going to add this color and just let it bleed into there. Isn't that nice? And we can go ahead and add some more water into it, and it's going to get lighter over here. I'm going to get some more of the color because I want it darker in here. I was able to, surprisingly, because that's all wet, so it's kind of bleeding a little bit into the areas that I don't want, but that's okay. I can take and just wipe off my brush, and I can come back and I can soak some of this up so that we get that nice shadow, because we want it darker onto her left arm because there wouldn't be the light showing there, so we want that to remain dark. But because there was water over the whole thing, it all bled into each other. So it was nice that we were able to take the watercolor, clean it up, get it dry, don't add any more water into the bristles, and then just soak that color up. Now if this is a little bit too much for you, you can go ahead and use your brush to manipulate that color. Maybe add a little bit of color. And we're going to manipulate this color here. See there? All right, yay! And I'm going to go ahead and try this again. The one thing you want to be careful is that you don't overwork it when it's wet. Maybe dry it. If you're not quite happy with it, dry it first and then go back. You don't want to keep going at it with the water brush, because then your paper will start pilling, and then you'll just end up with a total mess. So if you're not liking it, dry it and then come back with the water, and then you can work at it some more. See there? Oh shoot, no. And it's always good to just leave it alone when you get to a point. Don't overthink it. But we're going to go in here. We're going to get rid of that blue. Wipe off my brush. Come back in with a clean brush. Add a little bit of water. There we go. We got it clean again. Okay. Now I want to dry it. Because I want to start with the dry palette. And then I'm going to go into the gray stone, which is 93. So it's this one right here. I want to make sure this is good and clean. Come into 93, and I just want real light. So maybe come over here on your palette, get it nice and light. And we're going to just create a shadow on the back of her cuff of her collar and the cuff of her shirt here. There you go. We're all set. You see that here? Is it showing good? So now we can go ahead and use our Milky Pop pen from Pentel, and we can color in that baby's breath. You can do these. You can do the background. On this one, you can see I added the blue. Let's go ahead and do that. I used the Stream number 90. I used a bigger brush. Get it nice and the bristles nice and wet. There we go. Come into the blue here, and then just add this background. If it's a little bit too much, go ahead and move the blue around here. It's going to lighten up a little bit when you dry it, but you can always soak up that color, bring it over here. And then you can come down a little bit closer and soften that line up around her. Come in. And then soften this line again. Get the ink off, or the paint off. Come back in if you want to soften that up some more. So with this one, I just added a nice little touch, then added a banner around the bottom. And if you want, you can pull this in a little bit and it will soften that line. I'm just really enjoying using the watercolors. They're a lot of fun. Hope you guys are too. And I would love to hear what you think of the stamp set this month. Next month is my birthday month, June. And so I've got a fun stamp for you for June. But until then, I hope you guys have a blessed Mother's Day and have a great week, a great month. Looks like spring is finally here. So enjoy. God bless.